X, X, Y, Y, B, B, A, B, up, up, down, down, left, right, select. Infinite lives, baby. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess it's about that time to give you guys the real breakdown on Ready Player One. Let's go! Hey guys, what's up? Roger Alvarado here from The Real Breakdown, ready to give you a non-spoiler review on Ready Player One. Let me just start off by saying that I had to calm myself down after watching this movie because this movie is absolutely amazing, guys. You guys have no idea how much I loved this movie. I had so much excitement going into this movie, and it surpassed my expectations for this movie, guys. It was absolutely amazing. So many great things to say about this film. I just have to say this. I'm going to make a statement right now, guys, and that statement is that this is the most fun that I've had in a movie in a long time. I was on the edge of my seat throughout the whole movie. I did not want this movie to end. So some of my initial reactions here were that I literally walked out of the movie theater saying, holy crap, this is the most fun I've had in a movie since The Avengers. And that's huge for me, guys. That's a huge statement for me. I mean, I had more fun watching this than I did with Black Panther. That's how much I love this movie. So just to give you guys a little bit of background in case you guys haven't checked out the trailer, which I definitely recommend, this film is directed by Steven Spielberg. He's one of the best directors alive right now. He's directed I'm sure some of your favorite films, so that's already a plus. But this movie is actually also adapted from a book that I haven't read, and I'm gonna go buy now after watching this movie. And essentially, what the story is that this movie takes place in the future, 2045. Virtual reality is a huge thing. There's this place called the Oasis, and basically everyone at this point in the future uses virtual reality to kind of like fulfill their dreams. So the creator of this virtual reality world called the Oasis essentially has died, and he has left a set of challenges and games that lead to an Easter egg. And this Easter egg, once attained by a player, basically they gain control of the game, they gain the rights to the company, they gain the trillions of dollars that he left behind. And so essentially it's this huge, task that everyone is trying to complete, and people have obsessed over it, and even companies get involved and all this and that. So that's kind of the basis of it. And so we follow Wade Watts, who is a huge lover of the game. He plays the game, and his group of friends as they try to attain the egg that will give them total control of the Oasis. So just with that synopsis alone, I was intrigued. I was like, okay, then I hear Steven Spielberg's going to do it, and I'm like, even better, let's check it out. Trailers came out. I really liked it. I walked in kind of nervous because I had set pretty high expectations, and it totally surpassed them for me. There's so many great things in this movie. One of the first things that I can just start off is the world. The world that they create in this movie, the Oasis, the virtual reality, I mean, it is immense. It is amazing. Like, you literally get the scale of this movie. This is huge. You can literally do anything in the Oasis, and it kind of develops towards in the story of what's going on with Wade and his friends. And also another thing, a huge plus was the way that they presented the Oasis, the virtual reality. Because I feel like this movie could have gone bad really quickly, and this movie could have gone bad in so many different ways. And I think the fact that they had Steven Spielberg helming this movie, or helming the adaptation of this book, really helped, because sometimes there are some things that are written in book that just don't translate to film, but it just worked really well. It was not a distraction. I was totally focused on the story, on the characters, and actually I think it even plussed it. There's so much craziness going on that you're just like, oh my god, this is awesome. And not to mention, this is Steven Spielberg. He's directed a bunch of films, and so he threw so many Easter eggs in this movie. If you're a person that likes Easter eggs in movies, you're going to like this film. I could probably say that 50% of the reason that I liked this movie, or 50% of the exciting moments that I had, was like, oh my god, look at that character. Oh my god, look at this. Oh my god, look at that. It's so much fun, you guys. I literally can say that the first 30-40 minutes of this film, I was like I was giddy, and I was just like hoping that it wasn't going to end. And then you start getting into some more meat of the story and all this and that. But I just thought this film was done very well. The story, the characters are amazing, and they have such a nice balance of the real world and the virtual reality world. Like, they seamlessly bring you in and out without being jarring or confusing. So I thought that was great. So aside from the story and all the Easter eggs and all that, one of the things that I loved about this film was that it totally felt like it felt like an adventure. Like, it definitely felt like an adventure, but it also felt like a it's kind of weird to say that it was kind of a mystery, but it's these kids are trying to crack the code on how to beat these challenges, and their intricate ways of doing it. It's not just like whoever can press a button on the remote faster or whoever can do this. Like, no, you have to be ingenious, you have to do some research, you have to do this, you have to do that. And so I really loved that. And so I thought, wow, like they're actually making it so that it's not just easy for someone to get it done. And I thought that some of the characters in there that you don't think are going to end up being a big deal end up being a big deal. So it's definitely an exciting film, and you know, I had a lot of fun with it, as you can tell. Another thing that I thought was really cool was how they portrayed gaming and gamers and clans, and you know, that whole society or that whole world of gaming, which I thought was really cool, because as someone who's gamed a little bit, not really a lot, I've delved into that world a little bit. So I thought it was really cool. I thought they really portrayed that well, so they did a great job with that. God, there's just so much to talk about with this movie. And there are so many moments. Another thing I'm going to say is this movie, I guarantee you, is going to have some very, very memorable moments that are going to be remembered for a long time. Not to mention the music. That's another thing, guys, before I forget. The music in this is super awesome. It's all 80s, 90s, like awesome songs that everyone knows. And they just create this environment of like, yeah, dude, totally, like, oh, dude, I love it. So there's a lot of memorable moments. So moving on to some of the negatives. I mean, hey, no film is perfect. Even though I really loved this movie and I walked out buzzing, I can't say it's a perfect film. There were just a few minor issues that I had with it, but overall, you know, they weren't much. So one of those issues was actually that as the story progresses, there are some moments where I just feel like they cut from one scene to another really quick, and it feels like there's a gap in between of like, wait, what happened while this happened? Like, they were here, now they're just here. How did they get there? You know, what happened? But honestly, I feel that they probably did that just because, you know, they needed to move the story along. And I don't even remember how long this movie is. I think it's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but it didn't feel that long, and I wanted it to keep going. I think that they probably just had to take certain things out that maybe weren't necessary, maybe would have taken away from, you know, the story and all the cool scenes and all that stuff. So it wasn't a big deal. I got over it really quick. For instance, you know, I would say, wait, how do they get from there to there? Oh, it doesn't matter because now they're doing this and look how cool that is and blah, blah, blah. And it leads to the story, da, da, da. So that was, you know, I was totally cool with that. Okay, so one other minor gripe that I have about the film is that the antagonist, so kind of like the villain, I guess, of the movie is, I mean, he's a good character, but there are just moments where I feel like we could have focused on him a little more, maybe gotten a little more backstory, maybe gotten a little bit more of his motivations. I mean, they're there, but I just felt like we could have delved in deep. But honestly, if they took time away from that so that they can focus on the world and the world building and all the characters and the awesome moments and the awesome challenges and all that stuff, I'm okay with it. You know, if you had to take a little bit of that screen time from the villain and explaining him a little bit to give these other things, you know, the spotlight, I'm okay with it because that totally worked for me. Other than that, I can't really think about any other huge negatives that I was like, oh, no, totally. Very, very minor. Overall, I had a great time. There's also, I kind of already mentioned that there's a lot of references, but there's one huge reference to a specific movie that I have not seen, and this made me want to go see that movie. It might be one that I review soon, guys. I don't want to bring it up because it's kind of a spoiler, but if you've seen the movie, you know which movie I'm talking about. There's like this huge moment where they just like, you know, shine the light on this one movie. I haven't seen that movie, so I lost a few of the references there, but it made me want to, you know, I still got the story, but it made me want to watch that movie for sure. So, you know, finishing up here, guys, I definitely have to say I super duper duper recommend this movie. Go see this movie now because this is going to be one of those movies that is either going to be a classic or it's going to become a cult classic over time. So overall, guys, I definitely have to recommend this film. I think you can go see it with your family, your friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your dog, your neighbor, I don't know, whoever you want to take with you. But this movie's a lot of fun. It's an adventure. It's Steven Spielberg. Make sure you guys check it out. Go see it in the theater. Support the film. You've gotten the real breakdown on Ready Player One, one of my favorite movies I've reviewed so far. So we'll catch you next time, guys.